Hi guys, I'm just going to give you a quick overview of my copywriting webinar that I've just done for all the guys. Thank you very much for attending, by the way, everybody. I'm just going to give you a very quick overview of what I covered off. I mean, basically, in the next sort of 20 minutes, I'm just going to give you some very basic skills on how to use copywriting and sales language patterns. I've got myself, I'm an NLP practitioner and a certified hypnotherapist, which gives me some skills in how to use language professionally. I've also studied a little bit of marketing and copywriting as well over the years that have put me in the position that I'm in. So basically what I'm going to do is just give you some very, very quick tips on how you can do that and utilize it in your business from top to bottom. So one of the things that lets a lot of personal trainers down, this isn't new information. Everybody knows this sort of stuff, and most people know it. Not a lot of people apply it. It's just a pure simple notion that you are in a sales environment and you are trying to sell what you do over what other people do. I think one thing that is important, we tend to forget that there are a lot of fitness professionals out there that pretty much do the same type of thing. For example, if you're in the mobile training field like we are, there are a lot of mobile trainers that exist out there. What's given me the edge and what's meant that I now earn treble what the average UK personal trainer earns, and that's within less than 6 years of being in the business, is that you've got to make yourself stand out. And that's not with the training that you do, because if you've got nobody to train, as we've said before, it doesn't matter how good a trainer that you are. So basically what I'm going to do is going to cover 3 major areas today, which are the basis of sales language, some things to be mindful of, some little buzzwords and phrases that are always good to use, and why people who in the quick fix business do so well, and then finally just some connectors and how to bring language together to write decent sales copy. So first and foremost, let me give you my 4 E's of sales language, really, that I've learned over the years. They are empathy, engagement, entertainment, and evoke. Okay, the word evoke, and that will be evoke a feeling or an action. So the first one is empathy. Now, again, it amazes me that we still make this mistake in the fitness industry, in any industry really, is a lack of empathy for the person that we're speaking to. I'm quite fortunate in the fact that I've lost a lot of weight. So that gives me the ability to be able to talk properly to somebody who's lost weight, because I've experienced it myself. Now, whilst I can't fully understand their position, because I'm not them, I can certainly appreciate it because I've been there. So empathy is a massive foundation for building any sort of sales language, because you have to know who you're talking to. You have to decide who you're talking to. You have to decide an avatar, as it's known, or an ideal client, and say, right, that's the person that I'm talking to. What do they want to hear? What will they want to hear? And a really, really simple way of doing that is to use the word you instead of me. So instead of I am a, it's what are you looking for? Or what are they looking for? Because if you are a personal trainer that helps get people fit, I'm going to make the assumption that's fairly obvious. Now, that's a bit brutal, but it's true. You have to work on the basis that you being a personal trainer based in wherever is going to be fairly obvious to them. It's what is it for them that does that? So empathy first. Really good way of doing that is to say, right, instead of saying I am, think in terms of are you, or do you, in terms of your language. When you speak to clients, it's are you looking for rather than I am a, because you are a is obvious. Yeah, you've got to have a mix. You've got to tell them what you do, but you need to mix that with sort of building empathy with your client. The next one is engagement. And engagement basically is, why should they listen to you? So why should that particular client prospect listen to what you've got to say? Why should they engage with you? What is it that's going to make them want to learn more? And we'll come to this at the end, but it's really that engagement piece in respect of what problem are you solving as a trainer? So what problem have they got that you can solve? If you are a classic mobile trainer and you are looking to help people get fit and lose weight, we're going to assume that you can help them with that. But is there anything more you can do there? Is there any reason why they should pick you to do that over anybody else? So what particular problem are you solving that's going to help them engage with you better? And what questions can you ask? So what questions could you ask somebody to get them engaged in what you're doing, to make them want to answer it, to want to speak to you? So first stage is who you're talking to, how are you talking to them? Second stage is how do you get them to talk to you? Entertainment is always the controversial one, particularly in our industry, because there is this belief that it's kind of the professional versus unprofessional hang up. And I want to call it sort of being yourself versus being not yourself, because we're human beings. I've had a profound increase in my business just from being myself. And I like to be funny. I like to, entertain people like a boot camp. If there's 6 o'clock in the morning, it's pitch black, I need to entertain them, because otherwise it's tough for them to get there. So having fun, being different, standing out, sometimes it's that entertainment factor, being yourself, that makes you stand out. And remember, professionalism, like all the top guys say, is just doing what you paid for. And you don't need to be brilliantly backside. You can still be yourself. So remember, another key part to what you do should have some level of entertainment to keep people involved. And then finally, on the entertainment side, be a good storyteller. People like stories. That's why the news is so popular and all that. Stories. So you've got to learn how to tell a story rather than just present information. And then the final E is evoke. And evoke is, I'm just going to sit back. Evoke is evoking curiosity or evoking action. So that could be evoke a feeling, then evokes them to do something. So it has all the stuff that you've said so far. Is that going to get them to do something? Is it going to evoke a feeling or a reaction? And that really is giving them the ability to say, I want to know more from this person. What are they trying to tell me? I want to find out more. So the 4 E's: empathy first, engagement second, entertain them third, then evoke some sort of reaction to get them to speak to you. And that goes for everything: websites, emails, everything. So once you've got your foundation in place, when you've looked at everything and said, right, those are my 4 E's, what you then need to look at is the words that you use. So the kind of words that you use. Now, what I alluded to at the start was the reason why the supplement people, the quick fix people, the lipocryogenesis, whatever it was I saw earlier, people are very good, is because they use these words really, really well. Now, what we've got to try and do is get a differentiation between cheesy and effective, because words like amazing, free, guaranteed, fantastic could be classed as, oh, that's a bit cheesy. People respond to those words. So it comes back into that category. It doesn't matter what necessarily you think or how you feel. If it works, you've got to at least try it. So let's give you some ideas. So I've got a list here. We've got new, free, guarantee, suddenly, now, announcing, introducing, amazing, exclusive, exciting, fantastic, fabulous, sensational, remarkable, revolutionary, startling, miracle, magic, hurry, staggering, astounding, incredible. So there's just some words. Now, if you were to think about that as a headline, this incredible program gets amazing results, that's going to make people go, rather than I do weight loss, which is literally what you see in a lot of personal trainer marketing. So that's what to think about. So start to think about how you use those words. And like I said, the quick fix guys are successful because they use this brilliantly. They use these concepts absolutely fundamentally brilliantly by saying amazing weight loss in just X amount of time. You can get this weight loss in just this time. If you Google 350 headlines, you should get a PDF sent to you, which has got 350 of the best headlines ever written, and you'll see how powerful these words can be. One of the best headlines ever written was, "Do you make these mistakes in English?" And what that headline does is you have to read the rest of it to go, what does that mean? I don't understand what that means. So, do you make these mistakes in English? So think about that and think about your headline first, and then think about those words, and then think about how you use those words to get people excited about contacting you over the other multitude of trainers in your area. Okay. So what I'm going to go through next is what are called copy connectors. And copy connectors are when you get past that headline, so when you get past the initial bit, how do you keep people reading? Now, this comes into, like I said, the sales language and how to use particular phrases to keep people interested. So it would be things like, on a hypnotic language pattern standpoint, as you start reading, or as you are listening to me today, or as you are watching this video, you are finding out many things about how to write better copy. See what I mean? So you are creating an environment where they have to listen to you. So as you sit there and listen to this, as you analyze every word of what I'm saying, you will find the information I'm giving you is very beneficial. It's a pattern of language. Can you imagine for a second if this happened? A good one. Picture yourself 6 weeks from now with your half a stone weight loss. Yeah, picture yourself. Just imagine yourself. Just picture yourself. Just imagine yourself with that new dress or new item of clothing. Remember when you were in your 20s and you were thin? You could have that body again just by investing. You see what I mean? And wouldn't it be amazing if you could be as fit as you were when you were 25? Do you know what I mean? So that's just some way of saying, right, getting them to the, oh, actually, and keeping them interested in what you're saying. I will put all this in a PDF and I'll email it out to you guys as well. So another thing that's really good to do is stroke people's egos because we like that, especially me. So what you want to do there is things like, you probably know this, however, this new program, blah, or any intelligent person would know, or you're intelligent enough to know, or of course you've already heard about this, however, yeah, or everybody knows about, oh, I don't, what's that? See what I mean? Or you probably already know this. So that sort of language is well. So you know. So I know you understand this. You'd know this. You're a clever person. Stroke the ego, and then get them involved. Then it's creating a future for them, so they can see a vision. So it's what if you. So what if you chose this program today, and in 6 weeks' time you were as fit as you were in your 20s? Could you imagine that? Little by little, you begin. So again, this is this hypnotic language pattern. So when you go through hypnosis with somebody, it's just the ability to follow instructions. So it's not the watch ticking and the look into my eyes. It's the ability to follow instructions. So you would say, little by little, you're trying your best not to close your eyes. And as you try not to close your eyes are starting to close. See the language. You become really interested in what I'm saying. So everything I've talked about so far is really interesting. I'm sure you'll agree. And as you listen to me more, you'll pick up more skills that are going to help you build a better future for you and your business. See what I mean? And then things like, really, like we said about the language, so wouldn't it be amazing? Wouldn't it be fabulous if you could get this amazing program today that would help you achieve this in just 6 weeks' time? Do you see what I mean? So whilst you're thinking, oh, dodgy sale, this is what, because remember, they're reading this, so you're not there. So when you're sat in front of them, yes, you can use this sort of language, but you're sat in front of them. When you're not, you've got to get a response. You've got to evoke that response that I mentioned, and you do that by using this type of language. Now, one point that's really important, I think, is you have to have a balance between positive, what's seen as, and negative. So you've got to have a balance between the two, okay? So positive and negative differences. A positive language would be, can you imagine being a size 10? Yeah, so that's positive. A negative way of doing it would be, do you want to buy new clothes because you keep gaining weight? Now, some people shy away from the second point because they think, oh, you can't say that. Well, the truth is, the reason why a lot of people dislike what I do, a lot of people like it, thankfully, but a lot of people dislike it, is because when you start pointing the truth out, people don't like that. They like the fantasy. But sometimes when you start to say, well, actually, if you don't invest in your personal training business, how far do you think you're going to get? You're going to, like when I say to people on our list, do you think you're going to end up working in Costa? That they don't like that. Well, you could, and I've spoken to people who have. So is that worse than taking a chance and investing in your business? So is buying a whole wardrobe full of new clothes worse than investing in personal training? Do you see what I mean? So you have got to get that balance right between positive and negative. Like I know on certain websites when split tests have been done in terms of what's responded better, there's been a better response to the, are you sick of not being able to fit in your jeans, than oh, do you want to be a size 10? You've got to gauge that with a mix of both, but you have got to do both because the reality is, in a lot of respects, particularly in business or in weight loss, if you keep eating and not exercising, you're probably going to gain weight. In business, if you don't invest, you're probably going to go under. And some people won't like that, but that's okay, because some people, it will make them react. Remember that. Our job is to get people to move, to evoke that reaction, okay? So if I give you a funnel, so a funnel from top to bottom of how to write copy. I mean, again, this is a very quick webinar, guys. We can't do this in, we can't do the whole thing in just, this is why repetition is the mother of skill, and I'll recommend some books at the end. But if we were doing this from top to bottom, stage one is you need to pull readers in, okay? So pull them into you. So how are you doing that? Headline, things like that. How are you getting people to come to you and read your content? Is it easy to read? So you might have noticed from the emails I send, I do this one sentence thing, which some people think is annoying. Actually, it's really easy to read because you can just scroll through instead of reading like chunky paragraphs. You can just go next one, next one, next one, and it keeps people reading because you're keeping that flow going. So easy. You don't have to do it that way. Just make sure it's easy to read and easy to follow. Is it in a conversational style? So is what you're writing, email, website, is it conversational? So is it like you were talking to them, or is it just robotic? So on an email, particularly on email marketing, one of the first things I learned was that it should be like a normal email. It's not a hello, here's your newsletter, buy this shit. You know what I mean? It should be, it should be that. Is it visually attractive? So it doesn't have to have bells and whistles, but does it look okay in terms of the font, in terms of the paragraph spacings and that type of thing? Again, that makes it easier to follow. In terms of content, have you headed off any potential objections at the pass? So have you dealt with any objections prior to them coming in? So for example, with me on the bootcamp website, I do frequently solve problems, not frequently ask questions, because I'm addressing certain things that come up. Like I don't do pay per session. That's not on the site, and I don't get any questions about it because I don't do it and I don't want to be handling that. So I just put it on the site to say, oh, sick of being inconsistent. Well, I don't do pay per session. You've got to commit, and if you commit, you get better results. Yeah. Do you have proof and believability, testimonials? One of the bits of feedback I've given to a lot of trainers about their emails is I don't believe them. They need to be believable. So it doesn't need to be some cheesy, salesy pitch. It doesn't need to sound like a sales pitch. It needs to be believable. And you also need to be able to back it up with testimonials and social proof. Is there an intention to your copywriting? So your emails, your website, is there an intent? So is there a call to action there? Is there something to say, yeah, I'm going to do something with this? And again, that comes back into the whole thing about clarity. Is it clear what you're trying to do? Have you made sure you've told the person how you are unique compared to everybody else? Because like I said, if the same as everybody else, you're going to struggle. So have you revealed how unique you are to that individual in question or to whoever you're talking to? Have you given them enough reasons to buy and a logical way to act? Or deadline. So deadline and reasons to buy. So have they got a reason to buy from you there, and have they got a reason to act? Because if they haven't got either of those things, they're not gonna act. And like we've just said, is there consequences for not buying? So if they don't do this, have you made them aware that if they don't get fit or eat well, what's going to happen? So you're trying to still evoke that response. And then is the writing, is it concise enough? Is the length right? So it doesn't have to be too long or too short. It just has to be to the point. You don't want it dragging on so you miss the message. So that's really a funnel. So like I said, I'll email this out to you on a PDF as well, so you've got it, so you can see all the bits and bobs. The key thing to do is really practice it and go and study some copywriting materials. Like Dan Kennedy's brilliant. Joe Vitale is also good in terms of some hypnotic writing. NLP is fantastic from learning language patterns and how to use language. So you've got to go and study this stuff. So if you can study language, you can learn how to sell properly without it sounding like some sales pitch, because you think you're afraid of pitching, and then it comes across cheesy. It doesn't, but it has to follow certain patterns to go with how humans respond. So that's that for now. If you need me at all, don't hesitate to drop me a line or email me at any point should you wish to contact me, and I'll gladly go through any of this with you and provide you with some support. Thanks, guys. See you soon.